Well, hello there, Professor Barry here, Professor Tom Barry. You can call me Tom, more than fine. Hey, so this is just want to give you an overview of some things about the class, not necessarily content, more about expectations, requirements, navigating the class, and just trying to connect to you, to let you know that you're not out there alone. I'm here by your side as we kind of go throughout the class. I'm here for a resource for you. If you ever want to talk about the content, if you ever have any questions about the content, we can always meet in person or meet over Zoom. But I just want to just give you this sort of brief introduction and then give you some tips for how to be successful in the class. So let me kind of walk through some different things I put together. The first is that there's a function in Canvas I didn't discover until recently. A student in one of my face-to-face classes mentioned something about the syllabus that was embedded within Canvas, and that she used that as a schedule throughout the course of the term. And then I kind of just looked at that and I'm like, oh, that's a great tool. So I want to make sure you know about that. So if you go to like our class within Canvas and you click here on syllabus, it'll look different once I get these things all updated. But you'll see basically a schedule of things that are coming up. And I think that can be really useful. So something to keep track of there. And then I'll go back there into the Canvas shell in a second, but you notice that I organized the class into like these weekly modules. And each weekly module contains course readings, videos, podcasts, just course content for the week. It also includes a separate spot for group discussion or for where to submit the weekly assignment and the weekly assignment requirements. So your weekly module is kind of like your one organizational tool, but also looking at the course syllabus, you can see kind of the requirements that are coming up for the week. So let me kind of go back and I can show you that the weekly modules, but also how to set up notifications. So I click on modules. I'm working on the class right now, so this is not up to date. But it'll be something like this. You have these weekly modules going on there where you have the course materials. Like for example, let me look at number 2, course materials, requirements. Here's where you submit the summary. So that's the structure that's there every week, is these weekly modules. Now I want to let you know that it can be really useful to get email notifications when I make announcements or there's a group discussion going on and people are making comments within group discussions. It can be really helpful. So if you go to account and go to settings, you got your email address. So you got the default one, COCC, but you also can add another one if you want to add another email address to make sure you're being contacted that way. And you can look through if there's other things, get notifications for certain things. We got things set up anyway. You can kind of look through. I have not navigated all that stuff very well. I just know with notifications, just change your email address if you want to be sent to somewhere else than your COCC one. The recommendation is set a schedule every week and follow it. I mean, I make the weekly module available near the mid to end of the week before that we start that coming up week. So let's say like on a Thursday on week 3, I open up for week 4. That way it gives people 2 weekends to be able to accomplish material. That doesn't work for everyone. Some people are busier over the weekends than the weekdays, but I open it up to give you ample opportunity. I would recommend creating a schedule where you do the readings or reviewing the podcast, that kind of stuff on one day and doing the write-up on another day, if that works for you. But whatever schedule you have, that you kind of make one and keep one. Another recommendation is you'll see there's 2 different options for completing the assignments. Is when you're reviewing the material, reading the material, is just to take notes as you review. So be writing your paper or writing your assignment as you're going along to be more efficient that way. I put together weekly videos to give you an overview of the content for the week. I really recommend you watching that. I don't test you on that material. You're not required to address that material. but it gives you an overview of the content for the week, and it'll make the readings more meaningful, more valuable, and easier to kind of get into. And I'll keep the videos under 15 minutes in length. They're just intended to give you an overview of the stuff for the week and talk about if there's assignment, what the assignment is or group discussion, all that different kind of stuff. So I highly encourage you to review those. And then to engage in the class, whether that's group discussion, whether that's the readings, the videos, the podcast, is to engage in the material, spend some time with it. And then if you ever need to, contact me and talk about the content. Always more than happy to do that. All right. So a couple things is being an online class and being a social science class, being a sociology class, is it's reviewing, it's reading, being exposed to material, and then writing about that material. So things like objective, true, false, multiple choice exams, fill in the blank, those kind of things. They may have great utility in other courses. For a sociology class, I just don't think that's the way to go. Because sociology requires more reflection, critical thinking, evaluation, and writing. I think if you're, writing 95 and above, you're more than fine. Writing 60 and above, you're going to maybe writing 60, maybe a little bit more challenges in terms of writing. But I think it's just going to take you, just be prepared for more time in reviewing the material. So the assignments are there to provide basically an opportunity for you to that you review the material, to encourage you in reviewing the material, and to demonstrate your understanding. Always put things in your own words. There's two different formats you can go about for the assignments. As you'll see, one of them is an essay style format, and one of them is more of a note format. Either way, it has to be in your own words to demonstrate your understanding. So the trick is with the bullet points, you're taking notes, but you're providing your own information, your own reflections, your own summarizing things in your own words, versus just repeating what is being stated by the author. So that's really important, because that's the only way I can assess your knowledge is through demonstrating it through your written work. All papers that are submitted through in Canvas. And if I go back to, I'm not sure if it's set up quite yet, but it'll look something like this. Let me go back. Here you go, the weekly module. So it'd be something like this. I'm not sure it's going to be called content summary. It may be called something different, but basically there's a little icon of due date there. That's where you go to submit the document. So you click on it, and this is instructor view, not student view. So go into student view. It's locked. Anyway, I can't really show you very well, but that's where you go. You click on that, and then you can submit the assignment there in Word format or something the equivalent. So it's really important to put things in your own words. It's the only way I can assess your knowledge and your understanding. Everything that goes into Canvas goes through an authenticity check. So it goes through a plagiarism review, reviewing content that's been submitted in Canvas, that's out on the internet, and all that kind of stuff. Not with Chat GPT, not Chap GPT, but with Chat GPT and other AI tools. I mean, you can use them to gather information. I mean, Chat GPT and AI tools are can be great for gathering initial information. I don't think you'll ever need to do that, but if you ever want to, feel free to, but always put things in your own words. Always describe things, explain things, the assignments, everything. It's about you explaining things in your own words, your understanding. I'm going to say that again and again, just because I want you to be aware that if a paper is submitted that includes information coming from an outside source, it's not cited, that's being presented as it's your own work, the first infraction will result in a 0 for the assignment. And you and I will meet and talk about plagiarism and kind of student responsibilities for your own work. If there's a second infraction after that, you'll be automatically dropped from the course. I won't ask any questions. There's no discussion. It's just automatically being dropped from the course. And that's something to be taken seriously. I mean, it's in the integrity of your work. And I take this really, it's a high priority to me. Because I feel like if the student is trying to present information that's not their own, the first time it may just be an honest kind of mistake. Like somebody's like providing information like, oh man, I just didn't know like where to draw those lines. So that's why a 0 for the assignment, then you and I talk. If it happens again, then it's just a removal from the class. And I think that's important because it just demonstrates the importance of, doing your own work and to not get into this space we're going to be negotiating things. It's like it's a hard line, hard rule to follow. There's a lot of I'm here to answer questions for you. There's no reason to be submitting stuff that's not your own work. And if somebody's doing that, then I just feel like they're being disingenuous for the class, and actually harming their own education. And it's just it's something not to be reinforced and supported. So I'm interested in your understanding of the course content. If you struggle with the content, I mean, I'd rather see your written work being like a struggle. Like, man, I'm just like, I don't quite get this. This is my understanding. To me, that's great. So if you're like working through something like, oh man, the author's talking about this, and this is really what I think they're getting at, but I'm a little bit confused. I mean, rock on. You're communicating. You're engaged in the material. That's wonderful. If you ever get to the place of struggle and you start thinking about maybe I'll just take some information from the source and just put it right on in there and not provide quotation marks, not saying and you're not demonstrating, you're not communicating your understanding, you're just repeating words from an author. That's plagiarism, and that's what's going to be put you in a difficult spot for the class and potentially be removed. So anyway, engage in the material, do your own work. Hey, so office hours, I'm available. I can meet in Zoom. I can meet in person. I am up on campus. Depending on the term, I may be on the outlying branch campuses as well. So just let me know, and we can meet in one fashion or another. For late assignments, you have a due date. If you miss the due date, you have up to a week to turn it in for 25% grade deduction. Nothing after that. If it's more than a week late, it's a 0. Group discussions, usually there's a post date. If you miss the post date, you have up to a week to complete your initial post. There's a grade deduction if you're late with that. And then for peer responses, I think of the way I have it set up, it may change, but the way I have it set up, there's a firm due date for the peer responses. After the peer responses are done, they're done. There's no ability to go back and add to the peer responses. So just be aware of that. There's no textbook for the class, so all the materials are free to you. There's readings, there's podcasts, there's videos. I spent a lot of time kind of just going through stuff, thinking what students might be the most interested in, what's maybe most applicable to your life. There's a lot of cool stuff to go into, sociology of the environment, a lot of great stuff to review. If you ever come across information you think that I might find valuable or other students might find valuable, please share them with me. Please email me, and I can include those in the class. All right, I think that's it. Yeah. Here's to a great term, and best wishes and getting the ball rolling, getting things going, especially the start of the term. If you do have questions, reach out to me. Don't struggle out there. I'm here to support you. And let's make this a wonderful journey into sociology of the environment. Take care.